What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shonen Showdown. I'm your host, Rob, and sitting to the right of me is
Scott.
And listen, man, folks over at NerdWire did a review of every bender from Avatar: The Last Airbender and also Legend of Korra. They ranked them out. We're only going to be focusing on the top 10. We only want to deal with the heavy hitters. So let's look at the rules real fast before we start.
For the purposes of this video, we're focusing on characters that originated in these two primary series, not the comics, though we will be citing the comic to contextualize certain characters and their feats. We'll also be grouping some folks together, noting who's a standout within those groups. Obviously, we don't want to waste our time breaking down each individual soldier of the Dali. We're also glossing over a few folks here and there. Healers who don't fight, and characters that show no quantifiable level of bending on screen, like that Canyon guy who's like, ah, my leg, and then GTFOs, or Fire Lord Izumi, who we simply just assume can bend. The rankings are developed based on multiple factors. Raw power is a big one, but a dexterous mastery of technique is also important, as is a character's potential to use rare subforms of bending, such as blood bending or metal bending.
Yeah.
Sometimes characters who have bested others in battle will rank lower, but it's important to remember that exploiting a weakness or getting a lucky shot off doesn't necessarily mean the winner of the fight is more powerful.
You hear that?
Think Mako versus Minghua.
All right.
Minghua has a unique mastery of water, but is beaten thanks to good old Pokemon-type weaknesses. We'll be including power-ups like the Avatar state in this list. This is mostly because it's impossible to gauge certain characters without their power-ups, as they do little or no bending on screen without them. Obviously, these rulings leave some room for debate, so feel free to add your 2 cents in the comments.
Alright, yeah, so those are the rules. I'm ready. You ready?
Oh yeah.
Let's start. Top 10. Let's do this.
Number 10, Zaheer. Zaheer is a truly terrifying villain.
Hold on. Why is Zaheer this low? I feel like this is disrespectful. I feel like he should be much higher.
I mean, there's a lot of powerful benders in the Avatar universe. I mean, Zaheer is he's pretty good. I mean, his main thing is that he can fly, which is a crazy boost. But you got to understand that there are other benders, fire benders, that can also fly. So
this is low, though. This is low. I feel like they're... All right, let's hear what they got to say. I feel like this is pretty low, though.
Leader of the Red Lotus, Zaheer is a martial arts expert and anarchist set on destroying the Avatar. After harmonic convergence, he becomes an airbender, and, having let go of his earthly tethers, unlocks the ability to fly. He's only the second person in history to ever do this. Despite just gaining this bending ability, he's extremely proficient. His natural ability may be thanks to his spiritual strength and his deep knowledge of air nomad philosophy and history. But it doesn't hurt that his extremist attitude allows him to bring airbending to sinister new heights, like creating a vacuum to suffocate the Earth Kingdom Queen.
Right.
Number 9, Ozai.
Hold on. Who do you have at 10? Because I feel like that's low.
Honestly,
I feel like that's low.
Low for Zaheer?
Yeah.
Honestly, I was gonna put Zaheer at 9, to be honest, but I'm gonna put him at 10. Put him at 10.
So you?
I mean, I honestly, I don't even want to put him on the list, but
you even want to put him on the list?
To be honest, I really don't. But I'll put him at 10. I mean, he can fly. That is a useful ability, and he is a pretty tough airbender. But we know that he's not the toughest airbender, and you also got to remember that while he did beat Tenzin, you got to remember that was like a 4-on-1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he also fought against Avatar State Korra, mind you.
I mean, that's not saying a lot. I mean,
that's not saying a lot. What do you mean? How many people could really hang with? I mean,
everyone else in the show. Let's keep it going.
At 10, I'm gonna take. I got Unalaq. I got Unalaq.
Unalaq at number 10.
I have Unalaq at 10.
Interesting.
Yes. I think his base water bending ability is elite. Obviously, you know, he has a spirit bending type style as well.
So you're putting Zaheer over him?
I think Zaheer can get busy. He can get busy. He went to the Northern Air Temple, maxed out everybody, and kept it moving. So let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Fire Lord Ozai's bending and fighting is fueled by anger.
Ozai at 9.
Fierce and fatal. With the help of Sozin's Comet, Ozai's already astounding power level gives him such a boost, he can decimate the land single-handedly. He can light bend as well. Now, despite his cruel demeanor, the Fire Lord, thanks to the propaganda distributed in the Fire Nation, is a respected and beloved figure. viewed as someone as close to perfection as possible. Even imprisoned, Ozai maintained a loyal following, and his ability to masterfully manipulate those around him definitely gives him an edge. Number 8, Juan.
Ozai is definitely not. He's not in the top 10. I can tell you that right now.
Ozai's not in the top 10.
Nah, he's not. What they were just saying before, we went over the ground rules. We talking about one-off moves is not enough to put you in the top 10. We got to talk about dexterity, how they use the moves. And, they mentioned lightning bending as being one of the main reasons why he's in the top 10. He doesn't even know how to redirect lightning. I mean, Mako knows how to redirect lightning. Mako is like a side character. Like, if you have Mako with the Sosa's Comet Boost, it would be, if not stronger than Ozai. So, I'm not putting Ozai.
I mean, I would definitely put Ozai in the top 10. That's disrespectful. I'm not going to go that far.
Definitely not.
What I will say is I believe that somebody like Toph, for instance, should be here at number 9. I feel like Toph has shown, discovering metal bending. She should definitely be in the top 10. Towards the lower end for sure, but she should definitely be in the top 10. Hopefully I see her pop up somewhere on this list. I don't know how much higher they can really push her, but if she's not top 10, I don't really know what else there is.
I'm definitely putting Toph a little higher than that, but yeah, I agree. She should be in the top 10 list. I don't know how they got Ozai in there, but
Ozai is definitely a top 10. I don't know what you're talking about.
As the first
On
episode
at
of the
8
series,
though.
I put him on the weaker end here because he just didn't have access to the wisdom of those before him.
that's a good point.
While
That's a good
Loma
point.
initially stole from the spirits for his own gain, he developed a deep respect for them and created balance in the world. He shows us that people can grow and change, and is the spark that gave us an avatar in the first place. Number 7.
I'm okay with that.
Unalaq.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that too.
I'm okay with that. I will take Juan at 8. Obviously, as they said, didn't have prior knowledge, so I'll take that.
Unalaq, in addition to being a powerful waterbending master, was highly spiritual and could utilize a specialized form of healing.
So
with
they got him
spiritual
higher
energy.
than I have him.
He essentially could bring dark spirits back to the light, and vice versa. Once Unalaq fused with the great spirit Vatu, he became the Avatar's counterpart, the Dark Avatar, the human embodiment of chaos and darkness. This merger definitely gave Unalaq a power-up. Ultimately, Korra was able to vanquish her uncle, but he made quite the impact.
Hold on. So I like where they're headed with this. Obviously, the Dark Avatar state was something crazy.
Pretty tough.
Is he bodying Zaheer though?
In the Dark Avatar state, I don't see how he wouldn't body Zaheer.
Zaheer fought against Avatar state as well.
Yeah, but
So
he
not like-
didn't fight against Megazord Avatar state.
Right,
He
but
was you know what I'm saying? I mean, to be honest,
that's more Vatu. That's more credit to Vatu than it is to Unalaq, in my opinion, though, because Vatu was sitting. He was sealed for how many years? You know what I'm saying? And then he came through. Unalaq fused with him, and by that time he was ready. He was just feasting off of that. So
yeah,
I feel like,
but you can't forget he's got that unique style of bending. So he could basically spirit bend. He could manipulate the spirits themselves as a bending form. I don't even know if he could teach that, if that's even possible. That's like a very unique type of bending. I'm gonna put that over Zaheer.
I mean, who you have at 7?
At 7?
Are you agreeing with Unalaq?
Honestly, to be completely honest, I was gonna put Unalaq right before Avatar 1. Just because what we saw in the movie, right, in the special where we saw Avatar 1, that was basically the story of him becoming the first Avatar, right? That wasn't like his prime, that wasn't like his max power level, you know what I'm saying? Everything that Unalaq knows, he's been studying the spirits his whole life, but back in Avatar 1's time, he was living side by side with the spirits. He knew all of the lion turtles, on first name basis, you know what I'm saying? Like, he probably knows more about the spirits than Unalaq, but we saw Avatar 1 basically at like the first season of his character.
So at number 7, I'm putting Zaheer here. I feel like he definitely belongs in this spot. Listen, he just learned airbending right after harmonic convergence, and he was already the biggest threat in the entire world. I mean, Zuko came out of hiding and was trying to, stop him from re-emerging. All of these things, Tenzin, Kaya, Bumi, all got maxed out once, Zaheer pulled up to the Northern Air Temple. Oh, and let's not forget the man can also fly, and he fought Korra in the Avatar state. I'm definitely putting Zaheer at number 7. That's just me.
He severed Korra's connection to her past lives, helped cause harmonic convergence and shift the energy of the world so much so that people became airbenders, and changed Korra's perspective on the role of the Avatar. She no longer was the bridge between reality and the spirit world, but instead, she was there to help the two worlds coexist. The Batu power-up is mostly why I'm placing Unalaq higher on this list. Yes, as a waterbender, he was a force to be reckoned with.
See, that's credit to Batu, though.
Without those enhanced spirit powers, he wouldn't be such a threat. Number 6, Iroh. Retired general.
See,
former
okay.
This is you, though.
Okay.
This is
Dragon of the West. Tea enthusiast.
I'm not mad at
Uncle.
this.
Iroh has one of the most tremendous stories in all of the Avatar universe, and we mostly learn of it through legends and stories. He was a master firebender with an insane power level. He could redirect lightning, something he learned by studying other bending arts, and he was extremely spiritual.
He basically created
After
a
his
technique.
son passed, Iroh really reevaluated his life and decided who he wanted to be. And the levels of restraint and compassion he exhibits throughout the series is honestly what makes me view him as such a powerhouse.
I will take that. Actually, you know what? That's tough for me. You know what? I'm gonna put Ozai there.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna put Ozai at number 6.
Above Unalaq?
I'm gonna put Ozai there.
Above the Dark Avatar. Couldn't even handle a real Avatar.
Are you acting like Ozai is not? Are we talking?
That would have been a 30-second fight if Aang wanted to kill him.
They counted. All right.
Oh,
you know what? Listen.
God.
I believe you'll be happy with my next pick, but I'm definitely gonna put.
How you gonna talk up Unalaq that much and then be like, oh yeah?
Because that's more Batu to me though. But I feel like Ozai's firebending power is still elite to me. It's still elite.
You're still comparing Soza's comet power level with everyone else's regular power level. You gotta understand that was basically a Kai boost.
You should be happy right now. I didn't pick Iroh yet, which can only mean one thing. You should be happy right now.
I'm not that happy. You're not making sense right now.
Let's see who they got at 5. But that's who I got at 6. You agree with Iroh at 6 though, right? I got Ozai at 6.
Yeah, I put Iroh at 6.
Okay.
Avatar Yang-Chen. Don't be fooled by the monk attire. Yang-Chen was a stone-cold bee. She was regarded for her determination and power, and Yang-Chen was feared for her willingness to do whatever it took to fulfill her Avatar duties and maintain balance in the world. There were no threats of war for an entire generation after her death. Number 4.
Thoughts about that?
See, that I'm gonna disagree with. Just because the groundwork when we started the video, I'm pretty sure they said themselves that, oh, we're not gonna talk about comics or legends or, you know, we're gonna talk about on-screen things. We didn't see anything on screen for her.
Nothing on screen.
You can infer that, yes, you know, she was such a strong Avatar that didn't have any significant wars after, you know, for the next Avatar. But I mean, what exactly happened? You don't really, you know, we don't know if that was convenience or if she was actually that OP.
Yeah, we definitely don't know enough about her, I feel like, to put her into the top 10 position. So I'm going to give Iroh that spot for me. I'm going to give Iroh top 5. And obviously all the reasons were stated previously, but who do you have at top 5?
Top 5?
Yeah, at number 5.
Honestly, I'm putting Avatar Korra at number 5. Putting Avatar Korra at number 5. That's what I got.
Time out.
Yes, sir.
Time out.
Yes, sir.
You're putting Korra at 5.
Sure.
Let me hear it, because this is crazy right now. I can't even believe.
You gotta talk about it's Avatar Korra, right? I'm not talking about while the show is going on. I'm talking about prime Korra, like, so I'm focusing on towards the end of the show. She knows metal bending. She knows all of her knowledge with the spirits. You know, she took down Zaheer. She took down, you know, all the villains. And I'm gonna put her, like I said, I just put Iroh at 6. I'm gonna put her a little above Iroh. I do think if it was a 1v1 fight, Iroh could outthink her, but just because of versatility and the amount of different bending forms she has, and she knows the majority of bending forms besides blood bending and lava bending, I'm gonna put her at 5.
Korra's definitely a top 3. I can't even believe
Top
the
3?
words. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's fine. We can roll with that, I guess.
Avatar Roku. Roku was a wise and just avatar, with a forgiving nature and noble intentions. However, Roku allowed his relationship with his childhood friend turned Fire Lord Sozin to cloud his judgment. Sozin took a hard imperialistic turn, but Roku wouldn't give up on him.
This is number 4?
When the two tried to
Yes.
contain a volcanic eruption, Roku used his airbending abilities to protect Sozin. When it came time for Sozin to help in return, though, Sozin let his friend die, realizing he could finally fulfill his grand plans for the Fire Nation. His downfall, he claims, was his lack of decisiveness. Number 3.
What are you thinking?
I got mixed feelings about that. I mean, because everybody likes Avatar Roku. You know, he had a dragon. He knew a lot about the spirit world, way more than Aang, way more than Korra. He knew almost as much about the spirit world as Unalaq. But then again, he didn't really do much in terms of, you know, keep the peace for the world. He kind of just put off the war for like 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, in terms of his prowess, in terms of his battle prowess, he died fighting a volcano. But then again, he was old, so it's hard to get a gauge on Prime Roku compared to the other avatars. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. I mean, I completely agree. I don't know if we have enough feats for me to really start throwing people in here just because they are the avatar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to get kind of ridiculous if we just start throwing people in, because by default, we should just be putting all avatars into the top 10 at this rate.
Yeah.
And I think it's disrespectful to the other benders in these 2 shows to do that. So with that being said, who do you have at 4? This person better be Ultra Instinct Goku level.
I have at 4.
You didn't even put Korra's at 5, so
Korra, I'm not even
Korra's at 5. So who do you have at 4?
Korra's alright. Korra's alright. Let me see. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fourth place?
Yes.
You're not gonna like this pick. I can tell you right now, you're not gonna like this pick at all.
I mean, you're saying this person's better than Korra, so let me hear it.
This person has a type of bending that I think she can outclap Korra. To be honest, this character in their prime, I think she can outclap Korra. I think her bending is versatile enough, creative enough.
Who is it?
I think she's serious enough to take on the Avatar, to take on Uncle Iroh, because I put him up there also. I'm putting Toph at number 4.
Oh my lord.
I'll put Toph at number 4. The creator of metal bending, the most versatile.
Toph is amazing.
The character that can sense the positioning of every
Toph
person
is
on the planet. From standing in the swamp.
Korra.
Yes, I didn't see anything from Korra that showed me she had enough versatility, enough experience, enough knowledge to beat someone of that magnitude. Someone with the versatility, someone that could sense any type of location. She could automatically geolocate you anywhere on the planet from her position. I didn't see it enough with Korra. Maybe Korra in 30 years.
I'm waiting for you to tell me
maybe
it's a
she
prank.
can do it.
Like, I'm waiting for you to tell me it's a prank. I mean, we know Toph's biggest weakness. Once somebody is, flying in midair, Toph doesn't know where they are. Korra can expose the hell out of that. I
don't even know if Korra knows about that, so I'm not even worried.
See, you're being so disrespectful. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. At number 4, I'm gonna put our very own Katara. I'm putting Katara at number 4 because I value her waterbending and her ability to bloodbend that much. She has waterbending skills on the level of a Master Paku, and she can bloodbend even stronger than Hama can, who is a person who taught her. So I'm definitely gonna put Katara at number 4.
I'm not mad at that.
Let's see who they got at number 3. Let's go.
Avatar Kyoshi. Let's talk about the longest living avatar, Avatar Kyoshi. This lady lived to be 230. 230?
Yeah.
Damn, Kyoshi.
She had size
Well,
18 shoes.
Aang believed they needed to
Kyoshi was-
exhaust all options before
she was
resorting
tall.
to violence.
She was tall.
Avatar Kyoshi had no problem killing her enemies. She was going to do her avatar duties by any means necessary. While she was an extremely effective avatar who took down the problematic Chin the Conqueror, founded the Kyoshi warriors, and kept the Earth Kingdom safe, she also led to the foundation of the Dali, who, as we know, led to the corruption and downfall of the Earth Kingdom. If you haven't read the Kyoshi book, what are you doing? Get on it.
So we including books now? Or?
Yeah, I guess the rules are a little bit fuzzy to me. A little fuzzy to me. I'm seeing, comic references, but saying no comics in the rules. Just a little fuzzy to me. My only problem with this is I feel like it comes to a point in time where we have to acknowledge which avatars we're dealing with, which level of enemies at a certain point in time. I feel like certain avatars were not fighting, Unalak level people or Yakone or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Zaheer. I feel like you gotta factor that in.
You gotta understand though that certain avatars were so brolic that Zaheer or the Unalak of their time thought, I can't even try this. This is like a cool idea I had, but Kyoshi gonna stomp me out. I'm not even gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shin the Conqueror obviously didn't think that way, but I'm using the strength as a deterrent as a factor. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying she was so strong that she didn't have as many big character arcs, for example, like Korra. See, Korra, everyone knows she's not that strong. She's getting tested like every other week, every other month. There's a new villain, there's a new guy that wants to, wants a piece of the Avatar. Avatar Kyoshi, there was like one person, and everyone else was like, you know what? That's cool. You got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, who you putting at? You're agreeing with?
I'm not mad at that. I'll put Kyoshi at 3.
Okay.
I'm not mad at that.
See, man, this is tough because the person I had at 3, can I see him putting Kyoshi in a compromising position?
Who you have at 3?
I have Amon. I have Noata. I have the leader of the Equalists. I have one of the best bloodbenders we have ever seen. Hold on, we know what his father did in that courtroom that day. Aang was in the building. Sokka was in the building. Everybody was in the building. And Yakone literally was bloodbending to the point where he was able to escape, and Aang had to go into Avatar state just to hang with him. Now you have his successor. You have his son who out-bloodbended Yakone and started this whole Equalist movement. Yakone is on that level. And let's not forget the fact that he can cut off people's bending on top of his ability to
Amon or Yakone?
So I'm taking,
You're choosing Amon or Yakone, you said?
I'm taking Amon.
Oh, okay.
Amon's more powerful to me than Yakone was. I'm just, giving the flowers to his father too as well.
I have one flaw with that. I honestly don't know how I feel like Avatar Kyoshi is versatile enough to come up with something to just trip him up to get out of the bloodbending for a second.
Have we seen enough from Kyoshi to say that though?
Yeah, that's not my main point. My main point is, as we saw in the Legend of Korra, when Aang pretty much helped Korra get her bending back, right? And he taught her how to like reverse Amon's, bloodbending thing, kind of like open all the chakra waves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the Avatar can do that. Aang taught her that from the spirit world. It's kind of like a similar spirit technique thing. I don't see bloodbending being all that powerful against someone like the Dark Avatar Unalak. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen him do that, but he can spirit bend. You know what I'm saying? If all you got to do is release certain chakra release points to bring someone's bending back from Amon's, chakra lock thing.
Right.
I'm thinking that the spirit bending can definitely also do something else against bloodbending.
Haven't seen it. Yeah, we haven't seen it. That's a good point.
I don't know.
We haven't seen it, so it's a little, we're talking about, something that we definitely got to find out more about.
Let me know if you guys want a Kyoshi deep dive. I want a Kyoshi deep dive. Number 2, Avatar Aang. Aang.
Oh! What? Wait.
Number who?
Hold on.
Number
time out.
what?
Time out.
Number which?
Who? Who's that number 1?
Number Y? What? Who? What? Number 1? What is going on right now? Wait. What? Wait.
Hold on.
Wait.
Hold on. Hold on. Time out.
What?
Aang is by far...
I don't even know. I don't know what to tell y'all. I did not see this coming. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm gonna say this right now. See, look, you had Korra at 5,
Here's
which
the
was
foolishness.
but NerdWire right now I think has surpassed you on the what in God's name is going on meter. Because what is this? What Aang is at 2? Y'all mean to tell me y'all agree that Aang is at 2? Who's at 1? Who's at 1? I must be missing something. Let me see what they say. I must be missing. I really must be missing something. If Aang is at 2.
I'm at a loss for words right now.
Let's just go. I don't even.
My favorite character.
Wow.
And he had the odds stacked against him. Emerging from the ice, learning all of his people were murdered, and he's the last airbender alive. And on top of all that, he's the avatar who's expected to take on a full-grown adult Fire Lord? Despite this incredible burden, Aang remained fun-loving and hopeful, and stuck to his roots.
Before we continue, who do you have at 2?
I was thinking along your lines. You were thinking of Bloodbender?
Yeah.
For number 2, I was thinking Amon. I don't know. Katara. Yes, I think Katara could do some damage against Kyoshi. I was gonna put Katara at 2.
Okay, I mean, dang, you got Katara way up there. I mean, I have her pretty high up too.
OG, triple OG.
But I personally believe Amon may be a better bloodbender than Katara, but Katara is a better waterbender than Amon. So it would be.
Is that possible? We would have to see that.
Right.
So,
it would be a tough fight.
Fair pick.
I have Korra at 2 though. I think Korra belongs here.
Yeah, nah.
Listen, even though Korra's had many mistakes, we cannot deny the fact that the enemies Korra had to deal with were some of the craziest level. First off, bending got to a point where, you know, Toph discovered metal bending, right? Mm-hmm. Now you have a whole metal bending city. Now you have Kuvira, which is she's one of the best metal benders of all time, being one of the biggest threats to Korra, right? It's things of the advancement of technology and the advancement of bending made Korra's, you know, career as the Avatar one of the hardest that we have really ever seen. So I'm going to give her that respect. I'm going to give her flowers. I'm going to say, you know what? Listen, I'm putting Korra at 2. She is very elite. And yeah, she did do a lot of mistakes. But at the end of the day, she had a harder run. She had more enemies and more things that she had to deal with than previous Avatar.
I'm going to tell you why she's not at number 2. Korra, a lot of the things that were mentioned in this video and what you just said, about 80% of them are her own fault. Okay? Aang was training as an Avatar for less than a year until he fought the Fire Lord.
That's correct.
Okay? He pretty much mastered all the elements in 1 year. We don't know the details about Roku. We don't know the details about Kyoshi. But like I said before, we can assume that their power was a deterrent to these villains. A lot of the issues that Korra ran in were resulting issues from previous villains either not being defeated fully or not being defeated soon enough. For example, the whole Kuvira thing with, you know, all of her weapons were powered with what? Spirit energy. Right? If she would have handled the Unilock situation better, Kuvira would not have been in that position to make those weapons. She would have had those regular mech things rolling around, but they wouldn't have been, you know, strong enough to, you know, disrupt the entire world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you're helping my point, Scotty, in the sense that you're bringing up that Aang only had a few months to, you know, fight one of the biggest fights of his life against the Fire Lord. But you don't even have the Fire Lord in your top 10. Which is why I'm saying most of Korra's enemies are in your top 10. But when you look at Aang's enemies, are they in your top 10?
I mean, one. But you know who else is in it? All of his teammates are also in my top 10. But I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
The further point, what I was saying.
A lot of Korra's enemies are in our top 10.
You got to also take into account that this girl is 17 years old, right? They knew she was the Avatar since like 5 years old, right? And she's been trained by the White Lotus, which was in, you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender was literally the most OP collection of old anime heads that could possibly be in existence. Training her from 5 to 17. That's 12 years. And besides that, she also had Katara that lived right down the street from her, in the Southern Water Tribe. So she had 12 years of prime training. 12 years of, you know, all these super powerful people in her vicinity, all around her. You know, she could just absorb things from them. And we didn't even see any development. We saw that by the time she hit 17, she still couldn't airbend. She didn't even know what metal bending was. Why is she, if she's just hanging out for 12 years, no one's like, oh, let's teach the Avatar metal bending, or let's show it to her? Like, I remember when she first got to Zaofu, she was like, oh yeah, metal bending, you know, I was never too good at it, so I never really... What? What are you talking about? You had 12 years. Like, Aang had like a couple months. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
She had all this time to do things she needed to do, and it still wasn't enough to the point where everyone looked at her and said, what are you doing? You know, season 1, you're looking at her, yo, she lost her bending. Season 2, you're looking at her, yo, she's in a wheelchair. Season 3, you're looking at her, yo, they just kidnapped her like 8 times, bro. Yo, if you trying to rob a bank, let's take the Avatar right now.
But my thing is we gotta be fair in the sense that Korra lost her connection to the previous Avatars, which is why I don't even think she's number 1, obviously. But she lost her connection to the previous Avatars, so that put her in a position where she couldn't. It wasn't like with Aang, where Aang could go to people for help. She couldn't go to anybody, really. I mean, whether it was she had to go to the spirit world and talk to Iroh or things like, random situations like that were just helping her along the way. But she didn't have those connections that Aang had, where he could just, hit up Roku in the spirit world and say, yo, what's going on? I need some help. Korra did not have that luxury.
I mean, Aang kind of gave her bending back.
I mean,
if you really, I'm not gonna sit here and say Aang had no help from Roku, but Korra did have help from Aang.
She did. But halfway through the show, that stopped.
That's her own fault. What?
Yeah, I mean, Unalad.
That's her fault.
Yeah.
12-year-old Aang had it, but 17-year-old, man, I'm done with that. Who's the next?
Says a monk in that he wanted to respect all living things. He was insanely spiritually aware and connected, and was open to creative problem solving.
I'm interested who they have
to learn from others. His ability to make friends from all walks of life helped him unite the nations. Not exactly an easy feat. In his avatar state, Aang is a force of nature that precisely uses each element to subdue the threat of the raging Ozai. Instead of squashing the Fire Lord like a bug, he harnesses the power of energy bending to strip him of his powers. Energy bending requires an unbendable spirit, and it speaks volumes to his strength that little free-loving Aang is able to bend a tyrant to his will.
Yes, sir.
And finally, number 1, Avatar Korra.
All right.
Yo, wait, hold up.
You heard our takes already.
Wait, rolling.
Look
at my man. Look at my man. That's what we just did. Okay, this is. Come on now. Come,
man.
Yo, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable for what I just said. You got anything else to add?
Yeah, like I said, she didn't have the connection to the previous Avatar, so I cannot agree with this. This is blasphemous.
Aang is number 1.
Aang is definitely number 1. Especially Avatar state Aang. I feel like when Aang reaches the Avatar state, he was able to put in way more work than Korra. The only edge I'm giving to Korra is that she did have tougher opponents lined up for her, because bending advanced so much by the time she got... I mean, there's people in Korra that can literally bend lava and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, Aang wasn't dealing with that yet. So I gotta give Korra some credit. But because she doesn't have the previous Avatar that she can tap into and get extra help and things of that nature, I have to put Aang over Korra. That's
Korra, she wouldn't even listen if they tried to help her out. But,
probably wouldn't. I
mean, Avatar Aang is definitely the number 1. What we saw at the end of the last Airbender was Aang at 12 years old saving the world. And as far as we know from Korra, the only other possible threat in the rest of Aang's life was her comb. We don't even know, you know what I'm saying? Remember how you were saying, oh, Korra has all these main villains. I was going back to Kyoshi, she had Shin the Conqueror as the main guy. Going back to Avatar Aang, he had Ozai as the main guy. The reason these strong avatars have one person is because they're so OP. They obliterate this one person and instill fear into any possible criminal activity or villains, for the time to come. So they go, look at your cone after Aang, knocked him out. He said, I'm not going to try it again with my son. He said, and then the mom's like, Aang is dead? All right. Like, let's, like, this is a point. Like, nah, I'm not. Avatar Aang's number 1.
Oh, okay, but let's just look at the data, y'all, please. If we're talking about which avatar I prefer, hands down, it's Aang. I love that guy. But if we're talking power, I've got to give it to Korra.
Yeah,
she excelled at hand-to-hand combat. She's the first avatar to metal bend, and she could also bend energy. Aang figured out how to bend energy within, but we saw Korra take a direct hit from that spirit vine-powered cannon and bend that raw power. In addition to the knowledge of all the avatars before her, including Aang's wisdom, Korra had more time than Aang to master her bending abilities, since she wasn't on a timeline thanks to impending doom. She showed a raw talent and aptitude for 3 of the 4 elements at an extremely early age, and she had the time, the teachers, to really help her hone those skills. Korra's innate competitive nature also drives her to reach her potential, while Aang is more laid back when it comes to his training. Korra is also shown to have the ability to enter the avatar state with ease, while Aang struggles.
Oh, get the hell out of here!
Yeah,
get out of here with that.
I completely disagree with that. Yeah, I completely disagree with that.
Get out of here with that.
She struggled.
That's blasphemy.
She struggled.
There was things going on in Avatar that put him in certain situations where it looked like that, but we all know that's not the case.
Jagged rock to unblock his chakra? He would have never entered the avatar state to defeat him. On top of this, Korra had her powers handicapped multiple times in order for her villains to have a shot at beating her. Even with Korra's bending severed by Amon, or her body poisoned by the Red Lotus, she's still able to defeat notably high-powered threats. Yes, Avatar Aang squared up against Azula and Ozai, but Korra took on the strongest psychic bloodbender, a tyrannical family member channeling the strength of a literal chaos god. The second dude to ever unlock the power of flight, who trained specifically to murder her, and a metal-bending master with death ray mechas. These antagonists weren't supercharged by a comet, but they did rely on underhanded tactics or outside forces to even have a chance at besting her. And still lost. There is an argument to be made that once Korra severs her connections to her past incarnations, Aang gets the edge on her. And that's a totally fair argument.
That's my argument.
Even this position would concede that Korra at her peak out-avatars Aang at his. So those are my rankings for every bender in the Avatar universe.
Yeah. You guys let us know down in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with their list? You agree with our list? Like, who do you guys have as your top 10 benders? And with that, see you next time. Peace.